So what is an AI agent then? So an AI agent is a system that uses an LLM to decide the control flow of an application. So that would be the direct answer to the question, but I think that is still a bit too technical and doesn't tell us much. So let's look at the following comment actually from Andrew NG, which is that rather than arguing over which work to include or exclude as being a true AI agent, we can acknowledge that there are different degrees to which systems can be agentic. This is like with autonomous vehicles. There are different degrees to which a vehicle is autonomous. So we have the same thing now with agents or this agentic nature of an application. And I think this table from Harrison Chase post, I think it sums it up amazingly. And I also added a couple of notes. So let's have a look at it. But to finish up with this concept of agentic, just let's pay attention to what I have here. So a system is more agentic the more an LLM decides how the system can behave. And I think this sentence is key really to understand what an agentic system is. And I think it's maybe the sentence that sums it up, that sums everything up. But let's just have a look at the table now. So this table shows the levels of autonomy, of agency that a system can have, right? And it's evaluated in levels from 1 to 6, 6 being just the most autonomous or the most agentic. So those levels of agency would be the rows in this table. And just let's have a look at the columns here. So we have decide the output of each step, decide which steps to take, and decide what steps are available to take, right? So I'll explain you everything about this with a couple of examples and you will understand it well. So in level number 1, we have just a typical code application, right? So this is an example here. This is just every app that existed until 2022, until LLMs started. So here the output of every step is decided by the programmer, right? The human, right? We write code and we have conditionals, we have loops, and we have just functions, right? But we always know what is the output, right? The human has decided that. And also which steps will continue after that first output. That is also decided by the human. And also what is going to happen in the whole application is also decided by the human. Then we have level 2. So this is when we introduce an LLM call into our application. So here we have an app that uses an LLM to do something. An example of this could be something like a summarization. Summarize this text into these bullet points. So the output of this function, of this step, is going to be decided by the LLM. The LLM is going to do this summarization. So that would be level 2. Now for level 3, we introduce the concept of a chain. And a chain now is just multiple steps in the same workflow, right? In the same, so sequentially. An example of this could be a RAG, so a retrieval augmented generation, which we do a semantic search, plus, for example, using an internet search query to enrich even more the context, right? So this whole thing would be level 3. Now, as for level 4, we start looking at the second column. Now, the system or the app uses an LLM to decide what to do. And here, for example, is Ava. So for Ava, we have also a router prompt that decides how, so in which form should Ava answer. Should she answer with a message? Should she answer with an image? Or should she answer with an audio message? And that is decided by an LLM. Next up, we have the level number 5, which would be a state machine. And here, the difference would be that we include cycles. So, and here the app would cycle until it finds the solution for a problem. So an example of this could be a text-to-SQL agent that retries, right? that computes a SQL query, runs it against the database, and if the answer is wrong or is not what expected, or if it has an error, then it would retry that, right? And it will cycle until the agent says, okay, this is enough, this is the query, or this is the answer to the query of the user, and then it outputs that. And finally, we have level 6, in which we have a system that is completely autonomous. So that is that, one, the output of everything is just decided by the LLM. The step to take or which tool to use is also decided by the LLM. And finally, the LLM or this whole application would build its own tools. It would build these whole things that the system would use. To sum it up, the answer to what is an agent isn't really a definition by itself. It's just that we have to reframe that into how agentic a system is.